Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to our second playthrough of Into the Breach. I'm the King Rat, and this time around, I believe we're gonna go with the Flame Behemoths. So these guys are a little bit more tricky to play than the Rusting Hulks that we played last time, but I'm willing to give hard a go. We'll see if we can't get another 4-island win. We're going to be rolling again with our Archimedes, and although her skills aren't the best, I do want to start with the upper hand just a little bit with that mech reactor there. The range is handy, but I also really want that move. I'll go range first. Now let's have a look at these islands. Looks like this is pretty clear that this acid island is going to be the hardest. Especially considering that very, very annoying spider leader again. Oh, these options aren't great either. Although the bonus objectives aren't too hard to deal with. So let's try for a hard region straight away. It's lucky for us that we get a pod on the very first turn. Okay, so we want to prioritize protecting these power plants here. Considering the squad that we're running with, this Blood Scion actually makes our lives pretty difficult, so I want to prioritize killing this first. So I'll use my mech to do so. And I'll set fire to as many tiles as possible to limit the options the Vec have. Now I'll use this Meteor Mech to push this Alpha Leaper to block for us, and finally do the same for the Firefly with the Teleporter. And that should be it. Now luckily for us, the regeneration proc went off before these Vec tried to spawn, so they still take 1 damage. And fortunately for us again, this regeneration Scion will die from the fire damage before any regeneration goes off. So again, we want to prioritize protecting our cities over dealing damage to the Vec. I'll stand back here and set fire to both these tiles for area denial, as well as pushing this Scarab out of the way. And finally, I could swap this Firefly into the acid, killing him instantly. However, if I swap him here, him attacking won't hurt me in any way, and then it'll also block for me. So I'll leave that as is. Now, we're just going to do a little bit of an experiment here. What I want to find out is if I knock this Alpha Leaper back into the mountain, will that then free me from his string shot? It does not. Okay. In that case, what I've decided to do is reset the turn, because I don't think there's any way of me protecting this power plant without resetting. This might be my best option here. I will take 1 damage, but that should be fine. We'll get rid of this Firefly. I'll undo that teleporter move and start off with this. And this Alpha Leaper has 2 HP left. We'll knock him back, deal 1 damage, and set him on fire. So he should die before attacking me. And the Scarab will also die. So we'll just stay here and block for us. Now we currently have 2 mech damage. All we have to do is avoid taking 2 more and we should be fine. First region complete. Flawless execution, partly due to luck. Oh, and we get a free pilot. That's excellent. Not the best, but still much better than the default. I'm tossing up between +1 move on my flame mech or +1 range on the swap. There's a lot of good options here. I think I might go with the swap. And we'll pick the lowest XP default pilot to swap out here. And that'll be done. Defend the train. These spawns seem pretty reasonable. And I do like to prioritize corporate reputation when I can. So I might go to Nanite Farms next. And if you check the borders, it'll then unlock both of these missions here, so I'll have more of a choice next turn. So only the Scarab will be able to attack the train this turn. So it's very handy, but it shouldn't be a big problem either. Hopefully this Alpha Firefly just goes straight for this flame mech here. Unfortunately, I don't think the teleporter is going to be too useful in this map because there's no acid or water. So we'll have to think about positioning the Vex in such a way that will then attack their own. Okay, there's a few options for us to choose from. But I think I'm simply going to swap this Scarab into the way of this Firefly. Block with the teleporter. Set the Leaper on fire. And also set this Alpha Firefly on fire as well. Now because this attacks first, we won't have to worry about our city taking any damage. And of course buildings and objectives, trains, etc. are immune to fire, thankfully. Alright, that's something we need to deal with. We'll have to do a little bit of repositioning. Should I say major? Well, I didn't take into account the damage I would take from that. However, I can just move. Thankfully to Chen Rong, a special ability. Move across one more. And then push the regen Scion. Like so. Thankfully for us, this Firefly isn't attacking, and this one is simply attacking our mech, so it's easy to dodge. Now I was originally going to move this Alpha Firefly here, so I can kill this Firefly for us. However, I do want to prioritize getting as much XP as possible. So because this Alpha Firefly has more HP, it should give us more XP, so we'll go for that kill instead. Lovely. That's exactly what we want. So what we can do, which I find pretty interesting, is get rid of this +1 range option and then add both of these mech reactors into the +2 range. So we get a total of 3, and if we then later upgrade this, we'll get 4. Destroy all mountains. Oh, but we do have a disposal unit, so that's fine. On the Kill 2 mountain missions with the Flame Behemoths, it can be very difficult considering I don't think we have any direct damage. But because of the disposal unit, we should be fine. These are actually some of the easier missions, so I'm just going to jump right in here. I believe we have 3 turns to use the acid launcher against the Vek, and then 2 for the mountains here, if you position it right. Whoa, okay. Did not see that coming. Okay, generally I like to use these acid launchers to get the map under control initially. So we go ahead and do that. And then I might swap out this Leaper to free up my Meteor mech. Even that is fine. Now the rest of the mission should be relatively easy. I take that back. First of all, we'll get rid of these mountains here. We want to get rid of these mountains last because that opens up more tiles for the Vek to attack this city. Now we're going to simply block with our mechs, like so, while also setting these two Vek spawns on fire. So when they come out of the ground, they'll actually start their turn on fire. I would swap this Scion over, but he'll die before blocking anything. Again, we'll start the turn with the acid launcher, getting rid of all of these mountains. We're then going to kill the Scarab because he's already on fire here. This flamethrower will deal 2 direct damage to him, and of course he has acid on him as well, so it'll actually deal 4. We'll teleport this over here and simply swap. So he'll take fire damage, he'll shoot nothing, and then he'll die from spawning. And lastly, I'm going to move this meteor mech here and set fire to this tile because it's closer to the city here. And there'll only be 2 spawns next turn. Now it's good to note that acid doesn't increase the blocking damage that you receive, which is why we didn't die there. All we need to do for this turn is set this leaper on fire and end. Now, killing 7 enemies with the flame behemoths can be quite a challenge, and the water is a bit out of the way, so the teleport mech may not be as useful. Although it isn't in such a bad position, there's quite a few cities around that area. You might as well try it. It doesn't look too difficult. So when playing with maps that have the bonus objective kill at least 7 enemies, we don't want to prioritize blocking all that much. I have found a way to kill this firefly though, so I'll do that now, using the teleporter and simply teleporting him into the water. We need to get rid of this blood scion straight away. We don't really want to push him into the acid because that's not going to help us at all. So we might as well make it fire instead. I do believe that burns away the acid. We should be able to deal with 3 next turn, so I won't block here. I will, however, move back. 1, 2, 3, 4. So I'll be able to get to a water tile next turn. Here's what I've decided to do. To maximize damage, I'm going to bring my flame mech down here, set the scarab on fire and also pushing him in here. So that deals 1 damage to the alpha firefly. We're then going to set the alpha firefly on fire. And lastly swapping the firefly into the way, so I'm only taking 1 damage instead of 3. Unfortunately this guy attacks first, but I can deal with 1 damage. Okay, considering we have 4 kills already, we only need 3 more. 1, 2, and 1 more spawn for next turn. So we'll block with this, push him across, deal 2 damage, he'll die next turn. We'll push this leaper across. And swap him so he dies and blocks next turn. And we won't block with this last one here. And to finish it off, we'll simply set him on fire and push him in. We've gotten pretty lucky so far. Now, to deal with the spider leader. These flame behemoths aren't so bad at taking out bosses, it just takes a while. And unfortunately, time is not on our side when the spider queen spawns 2 to 3 spiderlings every turn. Okay. We want to bring this spider leader back into a line of fire, so we can start setting him on fire and taking a bit of HP off of him. So we'll block with that spiderling. That should be that. No, ideally we want to use this flame mech to deal 2 damage to this spider leader. And luckily for us, we're going to be able to do that. Hopefully. Excellent. This is actually a pretty great move for us. We're going to push him, deal 2 damage. He's going to block for us next turn. We're also going to get rid of one of his eggs and deal another damage. So he should die next turn with the fire and the blocking. As for these 2 little spiders, we're actually going to swap this spider because he attacks first. He'll deal with this one for us. He won't be a problem. And then this firefly is going to kill this spiderling for us here. Whew. Another fairly straightforward move. We get rid of these 2 spiderlings with our behemoth. I'm going to come down here. And set fire to this blood scion, while also killing the spider here. And lastly, teleporting this firefly into the water. Okay, last turn. Not much to this one. We'll start with our meteor mech. Killing the spiderling here and pushing this firefly out of the way. And we're going to teleport that alpha vec. And simply setting this one on fire. That's not so great. Luckily for us though, we did get a perfect island. Let's have a look at these rewards. This Vortex Fist can be very useful, and it is direct damage, which we lack. But Isaac Jones isn't so bad either. We could find a better weapon in the store. Perhaps. I think I might go with Isaac Jones here. And roll the dice. We don't need either of these right now, so we can sell these off. Can be useful. There you go, Mercury Fist. Can be a lifesaver. So I think we'll grab this. 3 reactor cores. And +2 defense. And that's basically mandatory to have at least 4 move, especially on your melee mech. This flame shielding we'll have to go on another mech, which is fine. I'm going to do that right now so I don't forget. And having an extra move on this Meteor mech can also save us later down the track. Looks good to me. Alright, thank you ladies and gentlemen for tuning in and checking out our first episode of our second run through, the Flame Behemoths. I think they're one of the more interesting squads to play. I hope you guys have enjoyed watching it. If you guys liked the video, feel free to drop a like. And until next time, take care.